Welcome to the Cynical Marketers podcast, where the greatest minds in marketing, we think, discuss marketing for an audience of several. And now, your hosts, Mike and Nada. All right, everybody, welcome again to another episode of the Cynical Marketers. Those of you who've been here before might notice again, we have another guest with us today. We've got Jacob McCoy with us. We are lucky to have Jacob. This dude is super smart, and he is in a lot of things on the business intelligence side of things, but he's an SEO expert, a cybersecurity expert, and business intelligence. Jacob knows a lot of stuff. And you see he's outside in the sunny, he's based in the East. Jacob's in sunny Roanoke, Virginia, joining us today. Jacob, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. How are you?
Welcome.
Appreciate it. Hey, Nada, appreciate it. Like I said, it's great to be on here, so I appreciate you guys' time for sure.
Found out you're one of our fans.
Yeah. Surprisingly,
you're one of the viewers.
Enough, adding comments to videos, so I don't know, it reaches more people. Doing my thing.
Appreciate it.
Great. Appreciate it for sure. But Jacob and I have been connected on LinkedIn for a while, so I have seen Jacob's stuff and some of the things he talks about. A lot of actionable, actually useful things. He's different on LinkedIn. I know so many of you who might be listening might be sick of LinkedIn right now, but you give Jacob a follow. Jacob has good stuff.
Yeah, I've thinned it out just a bit recently, but it's just because I was like, well, I'm posting every single day to prove a point that if you post every single day that there's results, and then I just started doing it for other people, and then my stuff started to slide. But yeah, I still put out good content from time to time for sure.
It's the hard thing about all of us in these fields when you're balancing how marketing your business or working on your business and working in the business, right? Like you get busy working on other people's stuff and then you neglect your own, and it's a cycle, right? It's so hard to stay consistent with your own stuff. The stuff you tell your clients, is hard for us to do ourselves.
Yeah, we're doing it for everybody else. Yeah. By the time we're done, we're like, hey, we've already achieved our goal. We proved that it works. We have the clients to prove that it works. But then you're like, well, how do I continuously get clients? Oh, I have to keep doing the same system I keep telling my clients to do. So, yeah.
I got to keep posting? What?
Yeah. I got to do it for more than a year consistently? That was exhausting.
A year even. You guys hear that out there if you're listening? I say that so many quit by 6 months.
Yeah. 3. I put money on 3 months. Every quarter, people are dropping off. Like, you'll get a bunch of new connections on LinkedIn or Facebook, any social media, and then where they 3 months from now, either they thought they succeeded or they didn't succeed, and then you don't hear from them again. Yeah, that's why Mike and I we've stayed connected for quite a while because we've consistently done it. At this point, we just wake up and do it every day.
True though.
It's been part of. I have been on social media and SEO, actually. SEO was the first thing I started learning, and I'm self-taught. I don't have a degree in marketing. I am self-taught. I started a blog 2006, 2007, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Dating yourself.
I grew that to about a million visitors a month on that, and it was a pretty good-sized blog. It was TV, pop culture stuff. But that's where I started to learn social media. And then SEO was super important. And in those days, it was a little bit different, very different, really. You know, so that's where my entree kind of into marketing was on blogging and how do we get this stuff out and how do you get found and being seen. So, and it was from a hobby. But SEO, I mean, it's super important. It still is today. And I think it is one of only 2 things that most business owners are well aware of, get it, understand it, and are willing to spend money on. SEO and their website.
No.
Yeah.
What do you think people will spend on it?
What's that now?
Do you think business owners spend on SEO?
So I think that they would rather spend on someone doing it for them from an organic standpoint than pay. Because the big thing, right, with pay-per-click ads and things like that, those don't generate numbers like everyone thought. Back in the day, cool, it'd be fine if you were listed in the... It doesn't matter now. You have to fight 15 scam businesses that are, for some reason, paying $1,000, $2,000 a month to Google to scam for $10,000, right? So, it's a nonstop competitive thing. My thing, especially with the clients that I have, is I show that you can organically grow something if you just put someone in charge of organically growing it, right? Like, I think it's the time and the effort that goes into it is the biggest like hurdle for most of them, for sure.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing you just touched on, Jacob, time and effort. And it's something that I know Mike has said in almost every single, podcast episode we've done, every single video he puts out. It's, people don't want to hear that they need time and effort, right?
Yeah.
So now the biggest thing too is like, hey, AI can do it. So how is that impacting your world, Jacob? Like, how is the AI changing all that side of things?
Yeah. So big thing, right, is they say, hey, AI could do this, or AI could, help and get this done for me at like a fraction of the cost. You still have to put the work and the time in to put it together through that. Like, even if you do use, you could use any AI platform that you want. I see it as a tool, but like, if you're not using the tool properly, then like, you're not going to be able to hang a roof. Like, that's always been like my biggest thing is like, yeah, okay, that's a ladder. Do you know how to climb that ladder? Okay, perfect. Do you know how to nail in shingles? No? Well, someone needs to know how to do it. You could get an automatic nailer and it can do some of the work for you, but you still have to hang like the shingles. So it's my biggest thing, especially with AI lately, is just that's been a nonstop struggle of like, oh, well, we could just do it through AI. Okay, it's still going to cost money to do it. Might as well do it the right way, right? So.
And if you don't know, like we've said before, and I know you've seen this, AI can be wrong. And if you don't know when it's wrong. So how do you know if the output you're getting from AI, and especially on an SEO and a technical SEO and a content SEO side, how do you know it's right? If you don't know what you're doing at all.
Yeah, it doesn't replace that. It doesn't replace that knowledge of somebody that spent their time dedicated to figuring it out, right? Like, and the only way that people really see that is like with results, right? It's like, look, I can put something smack dab in front of you to show you that organically it works. It just takes time. You have to put the time in, and if you're not putting the time in, maybe you shouldn't be spending the time on social media to try to promote your business or try to make it better, right? Like, because people are trying. There's millions of companies that actually make an effort every single day. And you're competing against all of them, right?
My gosh, man. I did one of those too. I did a post on our website about this, like you just said, that you don't exist in a vacuum as a business. You understand that all your competitors are out there doing stuff every day too, right? Like, it's not just you taking action and now wait and see what happens. Your competitors get a say also. And when you're not doing some of these things, your competitors are. And so now you're behind even further.
100%.
It's crazy. I think social media has done a disservice to a lot of folks in that the biggest accounts that grow out there are the ones who sell the biggest dreams to people. So they've presented or created this illusion to so many out there that all of this is easy. And that if you just do a couple SEO things, post a couple articles on your website, you're good to go. And all the traffic's going to all of a sudden start flowing in. Right?
Yeah.
They just make it look.
That would be nice if that happened.
Right.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic, right? So, like, my big thing, right, is I've always listened to people like Gary Vee, right? Like, that as much as he says, like, do more, and everyone's like, well, come on, like, give me more. It's like, no, like, that's all you really have to do. Like, if you put the dedication in, it works. Like, it legitimately works. Don't put all of your time into, into some business tips here for small businesses. Don't put it all into just TikTok or into one platform. You have to span it across all the platforms because all of those algorithms, regardless of who owns them, they all communicate to each other. They all tell each other, how can we market this to another person to get them to be on our platform? Like, it's all interconnected. So, I mean, you have to put in, like I said, the time, the effort. You can use whatever tools you want to use. But yeah, it's pretty difficult from time to time. There's a reason why everyone always says, like, hey, it's going to take, like, people who say, hey, it's going to take 3 months. I'm like, they have no idea. I was like, in 3 months, you won't even have a full business strategy ready to go at that point. You haven't pulled in enough data to do so.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
see, guys, if you don't believe Mike and I, when we say things take time, here is another person that is an expert in their own right, in their own side of things, that is telling you the same thing. Like that is, we know that what we're saying isn't sexy and isn't going to get somebody's attention because everybody wants to 10x everything in no time. But, you know, it does really take time.
Yeah. Or a lot of money. Let's add a caveat, or a ridiculous amount of money if you want to speed up your process. So unless you got millions, it takes time and just dedication. And you need someone who's motivated to really help you get that way too, right? Like you don't want someone in your corner that's just like, oh yeah, we can have it in 3 months, gives you a false promise. 6 months later, you're not getting results. Now you've soured for everybody, right? So anybody out there who is listening who thinks that they can get it done in 3 months, just stop. Please. It makes it so much easier on the rest of us to be like, no, it takes at least
time.
Yeah.
I always tell people it's one of two things, cash or effort. You will pay with one of the two. So if you don't want to use cash and you don't have it in your bootstrap business, then it's going to take a lot of effort. So
enjoy the next 365 days.
Yeah, there's no shortcuts.
The shortcuts organically. There really isn't, which, like I said, is also a reason why you try to figure and factor, like, okay, well, how much am I going to spend on pay-per-click ads compared to hiring someone who organically will get me somewhere in a year? If you want immediate results, start knocking on people's doors and asking to sell your services, because that's about as quick as you're going to get it outside of just figuring out what it is, right? And you have to figure out where you fit in the social media market too. It all takes time.
It does.
Yeah, it really does.
It's so hard for people. Again, like I said, social media creates this impression that everything is overnight. Gary Vee happened overnight. He got lucky, right? Alex Hormozy or Mr. B, some of these big, well-known people.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't overnight.
No, none of it was. Yeah.
You know, when Nada and I were at Grunt Style, that's where we met, our company, and we grew that, you know, when I was the CMO there, and we grew that to a big number, and I started to like be thought of as a thought leader. You know, I've never been so smart as when I had a $20 million budget.
Yeah. Right. Everyone's smart with $20 million.
Yeah. I've never been so smart. Everyone wants me to speak like, oh my gosh, you're so smart, Mike. Yeah.
Right.
But I had people tell me like, wow, you guys just came out of nowhere. You got so lucky. I'm like, what?
No.
Where were you? Where were you for the last 3 years? Like, well, we were grinding this out and we didn't know.
When we pivoted about 15 different times because it didn't work the first, 14. And lucky. No one's like, I mean, that's something I've always got to, like I said, with Gary Vee or any of those, like, they didn't just come out of nowhere. Like, they spent time building up a business and spending the time and then provided all of that information to everyone. It's like, well, yeah, but you have millions of dollars. They didn't have millions of dollars. Like, they built that, right? Like, they went through their process. There's a really good chart about how new entrepreneurs, when they start, they're on this big roller coaster ride, but the first dip that happens, either they get really sick and never ride it again, or they ride it out and they continue, right? Or they'll hop back on from the very beginning. Maybe I'll like it again, and they don't. So then you're just restarting the whole cycle every single time, when you should just ride it out, let it play its course. Is the year going to suck? Oh yeah, 100. Don't rely on money coming in for like a year. Just don't. But like that's the whole process, right? And if everyone was realistic about it to everyone, I think it'd be a whole lot easier for people like ourselves to be like, look, we just need to spend time. We need to understand how you're marketing yourself and going through that whole process. Yeah. So.
Well, and I think you touched on, Jacob, on, strategy and really things taking an effort and time, unless you, again, have a huge budget, can put like a ton of people behind the efforts that you're making. But most people are not in that situation. They are getting on that roller coaster for the first time, right? And they just don't know what they don't know yet. And so when I know that that's been something that Mike and I have run into when we speak with clients, it's always like, how fast can you make something happen? Or if we start working with someone, they get almost instantly frustrated if some things are not changing quickly enough. And when we say quickly, like people expect changes like 2-3 weeks in. It's not, we've said this before, it's not a sexy thing to tell people things take time. But on the SEO side, if I am a brand new business just starting out, what are some things that I could do organically so I don't have a budget, right? Like I don't have that $20 million that Mike mentioned, right? What are some things that I can do as a small business owner that are going to be helpful that maybe I can do? Or how do I even know, who to hire to help me with the SEO? Obviously, you guys, we've
Right.
got an expert here you can always reach out to. But if I'm a small business owner and I'm looking for some tips and tricks, like what are the first go-to things that you recommend for someone, Jacob?
Yeah, so first things first, websites are extremely cheap nowadays. You can spin up a website for $5 a month on a shared hosting platform. It's not going to be the greatest from like an SEO technical perspective. You're going to have to spend some time on that, but being able to get just your website up first so people even know who you are. I mean, still today, there was a stat in 2024, 68% of people still go to a physical website before they ever make their first purchase with you. So it's super important to have. So you can get, a domain that's close to your, from a branding and marketing standpoint, make sure that you get a domain that works, set up a website, and then use your free resources. You've got TikTok, you've got LinkedIn, you've got Facebook, you've got Instagram. All of those are huge platforms that regardless if it does take time, sure, but if you start off consistent, it's way different for a business that has been around for 5-6 years on this platform, hasn't been consistent, and then all of a sudden wants to be consistent compared to brand new accounts on these platforms. And then all of a sudden you're instantly, they're posting every single day for the last 30 days. You're getting pushed higher than the people who have been around for 6 or 7 years because you're consistent. You're feeding the algorithm, right? So use those free resources. And then data, right? My big thing, I'm really big into data. I'm really big into analytics. That's where the business intelligence comes in. Don't use just one data point. What I mean by that is if you're using Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube Shorts, because YouTube Shorts is the second largest search engine out there next to Google. So you should be using YouTube Shorts consistently. It also helps. But it also helps from like a GPT standpoint. So AI is using those videos to grab their information, referencing you in their searches, and you're pulling up more often when they're searching. I just did that for a client last month. We had 5 people come through the Chat GPT query because we came up with the best information, right? And write blogs. That's a huge thing. Like blogs are still super huge from an SEO perspective. Write a blog. It's very easy to write, and then take all those data points, your website, so how many visits you get to your website every single month, how many people are signing up for LinkedIn, your Facebook, who's engaging with your content. If you take all those numbers together, it makes a clear picture on what you should focus on. Okay, they like when I talk about cybersecurity or IT management. Guess what? I talk more about cybersecurity and IT management. Maybe I should be pivoting towards that, right? There seems to be a trend there. Also, Google Trends. Google Trends is a huge tip I give anyone. If you're interested in starting a business, just type in your thought of the business. See if people are searching for it online. It's free for you to use as a platform. And it will tell you business analytics is much higher now. Maybe I should make a business about business analytics. That's how I built my business. That's literally from beginning to end. Just start with platforms for sure.
Wow.
I love that.
Got a woodpecker.
We've got some background noise, folks. Good times.
Well, some of us like to sit outside and touch grass when we can from time to time.
It's freezing. We're not an iron Chicago.
I was like, we're wearing sweaters indoors.
Just,
yeah, no, 100%.
We're not yet out of the 9-month-long winter that we get in Chicago.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, you choose to live in Chicago, but that's neither here nor there, I guess. That's your choice.
Don't start that. We're going to need a whole other podcast.
Man, thank you. Thank you so much for this time. We really appreciate it. That is some really actionable intelligence.
Amazing
He's a
advice.
business intelligence guy, folks. You got to follow him on LinkedIn. Check if you guys are watching us on YouTube. We'll put Jacob's links in the comments here. If you're listening on Spotify, reach out to us. We'll connect you with Jacob. But he's an SEO, he's business intelligence, and he's cybersecurity. We didn't even touch on that one at all.
Yeah. I mean, that needs a whole different topic. I mean, you think I get like very dedicated about SEO? Cybersecurity is a whole different story.
I know. And small businesses, the vulnerability for them is it won't happen to me.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Until it happens.
Except, over 60% of all attacks happen to small businesses because enterprise businesses pay for enterprise services, but 100%.
Scary. I know. We didn't even get to it. We're trying not to terrify businesses here. So. But thank you, Jacob, again for your time. We really appreciate you coming in. Make sure, everyone, you can listen to us on YouTube, of course, and on Spotify, or find us on TikTok and our website. We will share Jacob's info with all of you as well. You can check him out. You'll find him on LinkedIn, and he'll share his website. He's got some stuff coming, too, that you're going to want to tune into. He's got some big news. He'll be making an announcement
I appreciate everyone's time. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks again, everybody. Tune in next time. We will see you next week.